What you are about to discover will fundamentally transform your understanding of existence. The moment you grasp this principle, everything previously known about reality becomes obsolete. Here's the radical truth. The world around you remains in a state of pure potential until the precise instant you choose to acknowledge it. Your environment is neither concrete nor predetermined. Instead, it is suspended in possibility, awaiting your conscious awareness to bring it into being. This concept transcends mystical philosophy, rooted deeply in cutting-edge quantum mechanics. The groundbreaking double-slit experiment revealed a truth that shattered our understanding of reality. Unobserved subatomic particles moving through space exhibited wave-like properties, existing simultaneously in countless potential states across a spectrum of possibility. However, the instant a conscious observer focused attention on these particles, an extraordinary event occurred. The waves immediately collapsed into definite particles with specific locations and property. The mere act of conscious observation fundamentally transformed the nature of reality itself. This discovery reveals a startling truth. You are far from being a helpless bystander in the cosmic drama. You were not placed here to endure a predetermined storyline written by forces beyond your control. You are the conscious director of the quantum theater of existence, possessing the power to collapse infinite potential into singular concrete experiences through the focused application of your awareness. Yet most people misunderstand this process. The collapse from possibility into reality does not occur randomly or through wishful thinking. It follows specific quantum principles governing how consciousness interacts with the field of potential. Quantum physicists observe that the act of measurement, fundamentally an act of focused attention, does not merely reveal what was already there. It actively determines what becomes real from a sea of infinite possibilities. Consider this in terms of your daily life. Countless versions of your future currently exist simultaneously in the quantum field. A timeline where you live your dream life, another where you are stuck in current patterns, and infinite variations between them. Quantum mechanics confirms these possibilities exist. The question is which one you will collapse into reality through consistent observation. This is where many become trapped. They believe they are observing reality objectively, but are actually selecting which version becomes their experience. When you awaken and immediately focus on problems, review limitations, and reinforce your current narrative, you are not merely witnessing, you are actively choosing what continues to be, casting a vote for that specific timeline. The majority of humanity, however, operates under the illusion that circumstances are fixed and unchangeable. Day after day, they engage in identical thought patterns, trigger the same emotional responses, and perpetuate familiar behavioral cycles, continuously focusing their attention on their current situation. Through this repetitive observation, they unconsciously recreate the same reality endlessly, not because they desire it, but because they have not discovered how to redirect their perceptual lens. Imagine if you possessed this knowledge. What would happen if you ceased viewing your existence through filters of scarcity and began observing with purposeful intention, unwavering trust, and genuine wonder? What if, rather than fixating on what is absent, you trained yourself to perceive unlimited potential? What if, instead of dwelling on past disappointments, you began attuning to the future that beckons you forward? This represents the core invitation of conscious reality creation, commencing in this very moment. Reality is not something that occurs independently of you. It manifests directly through your participation. The quantum field, that invisible matrix of vibrational energy underlying all existence, pulses with unlimited possibilities. It does not respond to verbal declarations or wishful things. Instead, it responds to what you consistently observe with focused energy, genuine emotion, and coherent intention. The field does not process your words. It interprets your energetic signature. This leads to a crucial question. Where are you directing your conscious attention? In every moment, your focus operates like a powerful spotlight, illuminating one possible version of reality, while leaving others in darkness. Are you casting that light on anxiety, uncertainty, and limitation, or directing it toward confidence, appreciation, and expansive vision. A practical example demonstrates this principle. Two individuals experiencing the exact same challenging situation, such as job loss. Person A observes this event through the lens of limitation, focusing on financial fears, rejection, and scarcity, emotionally engaging with thoughts of why me, and I'll never find something better. Person B observes the same event through the lens of possibility, focusing on new opportunities, growth, and expansion, emotionally engaging with thoughts of what wants to emerge. And this is redirecting me towards something great. Both experienced identical external circumstances, yet they are observing completely different realities. Person A collapses a timeline of struggle and limitation into their experience. Person B collapses a timeline of opportunity and expansion. The quantum field responds to both with perfect precision, delivering experiences that match their sustained observation. This is not about positive thinking. It is about understanding that your observation literally determines which quantum possibility becomes your lived reality. The field does not judge which observation is better or worse. It simply responds to whatever you consistently focus on with emotional intensity. This explains why some people seem to effortlessly attract abundance while others struggle despite working diligently. It is not about worthiness or luck. It is about which timeline they are consistently observing into existence. Most individuals attempt to transform circumstances by manipulating external conditions. But authentic transformation and genuine reality shifting occur when you revolutionize what you choose to consciously observe. Each time you emotionally invest in a particular thought, you are actively observing it into existence. When you repeatedly focus on what is malfunctioning in your life, you feed those patterns with your life force energy, making them increasingly substantial. Conversely, every time you attune to elevated possibilities, even before they manifest, you draw them closer to physical expression, initiating the quantum process of collapsing potential into form. This is not wishful thinking or New Age fantasy. It is measurable quantum science. As neuroscientist Dr. Joe Dispenza demonstrates, the location where you place your conscious attention determines where you direct your energy, and that energy becomes the instruction manual for the quantum field, not your physical efforts or struggles, but your awareness and your state of being. This understanding means you do not need to force your way into a transformed existence. You simply need to become the observer who perceives a new reality already taking shape. You must develop trust that reality is not rigid, but malleable, responsive, and exquisitely sensitive to the quality of your focus. Given that everything in your environment awaits observation into concrete existence, what will you choose to perceive next? This marks the beginning of an entirely new way of living, not as someone hoping external circumstances will change, but as someone consciously choosing how to interact with the field of possibilities, moment by moment, as an aware observer and intentional creator. What unfolds next will permanently transform how you perceive and feel. Your awareness is not limited to your physical brain. It transcends the boundaries of space, time, and circumstance. It serves as the invisible architect of reality, the quiet creative intelligence that molds form from the field of pure potential. The external world you perceive is not the source of your internal experience, but its mirror reflection, and this process of reflection begins long before any physical action or event takes place. Pioneering researchers such as Dr. Joe Dispenza, physicist Amit Goswami, and thought leader Bob Proctor have dedicated decades to connecting quantum physics with spiritual understanding, consistently demonstrating that consciousness is the primary force and physical matter is secondary. Amit Goswami explicitly declared, "Consciousness is the foundation of reality, not the reverse." This revolutionary perspective completely overturns conventional understanding about existence, transforming you from a passive witness into an empowered creator. In practice, this means your focused intention and deliberate attention begin converting waveform possibilities into particle realities. What you observe with sustained awareness materializes into physical form. The surrounding field remains neutral, but your consciousness provides direction. Your attention gives it structure and meaning. In quantum mechanics, particles exist as waves of probability until the moment of observation. In the realm of human creation, your attention serves as the observing mechanism. It does not require physical action, but conscious presence. It does not demand specific techniques, but internal coherence. It does not rely on external circumstances, but depends on inner alignment and harmony. When your thoughts unite with feeling, when emotion fuses with clear intention, consciousness imprints a detailed blueprint onto the quantum field. This blueprint becomes the silent directive that begins restructuring your internal landscape and eventually expresses itself outwardly in physical form. Some refer to this as goal setting or manifestation work. Others simply call it quantum creation in action. However, a crucial aspect of this process, often missed by manifestation teachings, is that the quantum field does not just respond to your conscious intentions. It responds to your unconscious patterns as well. In fact, your unconscious programming frequently has more influence over your reality than your conscious desires, because it operates continuously, while your conscious focus might only be directed for minutes each day. This is why individuals can visualize abundance for 20 minutes each morning, yet still experience financial struggle. Their conscious mind observes prosperity, but their unconscious mind observes lack, unworthiness, and scarcity for the remaining 23 hours and 40 minutes. The quantum field responds to the dominant signal, which is usually the unconscious programming running in the background. Understanding this fundamentally alters your approach to reality creation. It is insufficient to occasionally focus on what you want. You need to become aware of what you are unconsciously observing throughout the day. Those automatic thoughts, habitual emotional reactions, and familiar story loops. They are all acts of observation actively shaping your reality. This is where the practice becomes more sophisticated. You learn not only to focus on what you want, but also to become conscious of the unconscious patterns that have quietly directed your life. You develop the ability to catch yourself observing limitations and gently redirect your attention toward possibilities. Here, ancient spiritual practices intersect with modern scientific observation. Dr. Dispenza documents measurable changes in brainwave patterns, biological processes, and electromagnetic fields when individuals maintain coherent intention, paired with authentic emotion. Bob Proctor emphasizes that it is not your surface thoughts that create reality, but the energetic force behind your thoughts. Not your spoken desires, but the sustained state that supports them. Consciousness operates beyond personal boundaries, being non-local in nature. This means your awareness can influence realities across distance, and even before things manifest in physical form. You do not need physical proximity, but focused presence. You do not need external approval, but unwavering inner certainty. This represents the paradigm shift that changes everything. The external world is not the cause of your experience. It is the result. Your consciousness serves as the foundation, the fertile soil, and the seed of creation. The quantum field provides the nourishing ground, and your observation is the gentle catalyst that allows potential to bloom into reality. Therefore, when you next feel helpless or powerless, remember this truth: you are anything but powerless. You are an infinitely creative being, a conscious force shaping reality through the precision of your attention and the clarity of your internal state. This is your invitation to pause, breathe deeply, bring awareness to your inner landscape, and recognize that consciousness is not passive, but profoundly creative. The reality you experience is not simply happening to you. It is emerging through your participation. Creation does not originate from struggle. It begins with intentional focus. In every moment, your existence is being molded by what you are consistently giving your energy to. Not what you claim to desire or occasionally hope for, but what you habitually observe, react to, and emotionally engage with. Attention is not neutral. It is magnetically powerful. In every conscious moment, you calibrate your internal frequency, and that frequency transmits instructions to the quantum field. Your attention functions as an instrument more potent than physical effort, determination, or self-control, because energy follows awareness. Wherever your attention dwells, your energy accumulates, intensifies, and begins sculpting your field into tangible form. This explains why identical thoughts generate identical emotions, which trigger identical choices and ultimately maintain identical realities. This is not merely a metaphor, it is energetic physics in action. Your emotional focus determines the vibrational signature of your field. Your thoughts do not simply describe your experience. They activate corresponding timelines and possibilities. When you persistently focus on what is broken, absent, or causing pain, the quantum field responds not through judgment, but through faithful reflection. And if you continue observing your present circumstances as simply the way things are, you unconsciously strengthen and perpetuate them. Your internal state of observation becomes the template for what the universe constructs next. True, you observe current conditions, emotionally react, and through this cycle, you recreate the same patterns. Identical input creates identical output. However, when you redirect your attention toward fresh possibilities aligned with your highest vision and engage with emotional presence, you begin collapsing an alternative version of reality. You cease replaying past patterns and start resonating with future potential. This is the secret few are willing to practice with dedication, ceasing to observe what currently exists and beginning to observe what could exist, as if it already does. This is how quantum transformation initiates. You are not pretending or being delusional. You are focusing intentionally, becoming the observer of an elevated pattern until that pattern stabilizes and materializes into physical form. Your old identity constantly seeks to verify the facts of your current situation, confirming fears, replaying memories, and measuring incremental progress. However, your quantum self understands that the only authentic reality is what you emotionally stabilize within your consciousness. When you observe limitation, you amplify limitation. When you observe potential, you activate it. This is the energetic transformation. Observation must become deliberate, and focus must become a sacred practice. You are not placed here to mindlessly witness what already exists. You are here to witness the invisible into physical manifestation. Each time you offer your complete presence to what you wish to experience. Love, prosperity, harmony, vitality, and embody the emotional state of already possessing it. Your attention becomes the activation key. Not hope or wishful thinking, but the internal commitment to observe what the physical world has not yet reflected. This is the mastery of conscious creation, selecting what to perceive before it becomes visible, maintaining the frequency of your desired timeline before evidence appears. This is not delusion, but the understanding that the field responds to your observation, not your current conditions or circumstances. The empowering truth is that you do not need to eliminate every limiting thought. You only need to become more committed to your desired focus than your familiar fears. The quantum field does not require perfection. It requires consistency and alignment between what you choose to focus on and who you are becoming internally. Practical consistency involves developing what quantum physicists call coherence, a state where your thoughts, emotions, and intentions align and work together, rather than contradicting each other. Think of coherence like tuning a radio. A perfect tune yields clear, strong reception. Being slightly off results in static and interference. Your consciousness operates similarly. When your conscious desires, emotional state, and unconscious beliefs are aligned, you achieve perfect coherence, and the field responds quickly and clearly. When misaligned, you receive mixed results or none at all. Most people live in a state of incoherence unknowingly. They consciously desire love but unconsciously believe they are unworthy. They desire abundance but emotionally vibrate with scarcity. They visualize success but unconsciously expect failure. The quantum field receives these mixed signals and responds with mixed results. A little progress here, a setback there, just enough to maintain hope but insufficient for real transformation. Achieving coherence requires what I call quantum self-awareness. The ability to observe not just your conscious thoughts, but the entire spectrum of your inner experience, including emotional undertones, unconscious beliefs, energetic state, and the quality of your attention itself. Developing this level of awareness enables you to align all aspects of your consciousness toward a single desired outcome. The invitation is both simple and revolutionary. Begin monitoring your focus as if it were a sacred navigation system. Interrupt the impulse to observe what you do not want. Withdraw your attention from stories that cause suffering. With compassion, dedication, and practice, place your awareness where your soul guides you, because what you choose to observe with genuine love inevitably becomes real. You were never simply positioned in this existence to passively watch events unfold. You came here to shape reality with your conscious presence. Many people continue believing they are waiting for something to shift, waiting for the career, the relationship, the health, the opportunity. However, in the quantum realm, nothing moves until you observe it into motion. Nothing materializes until your consciousness instructs the field, declaring, "This is what I choose to stabilize and make real." This is the pivotal moment when your identity transforms from someone reacting to reality to someone collapsing it into form. You are not merely watching this cosmic movie, you are directing it. You are simultaneously the lens, the light source, the screenplay, and the screen itself. Every time you focus attention on something with emotional investment, you are assigning its significance in the quantum field. You are not simply perceiving it, you are collapsing a wave of possibility into a particle of actual experience. This explains why certain patterns continuously repeat. You keep observing them, feeding them with focused attention, and the universe, being infinitely responsive, reflects them back. This is not cosmic punishment, it is precise mechanics. The quantum field does not deliver what you deserve, it delivers what you reinforce through observation, emotion, and identity. This makes you incredibly powerful, and it explains why many people unconsciously perpetuate cycles they no longer desire. The transformational shift occurs when you begin observing a new narrative, even before it physically exists, thereby folding fresh possibilities into reality. This happens not because you force them, but because you witness them with sufficient duration, clarity, and emotional coherence that they had no choice but to respond. This is the essence of quantum collapse. Possibility transforms into presence, occurring through your conscious participation. When you truly comprehend that your observation holds this magnitude of power, you stop delegating your transformation to external forces. You stop declaring, "When life provides me with peace, I will feel peaceful," and start affirming, "When I observe peace within myself, life will mirror it back to me." Envision yourself observing two parallel realities. One timeline shows you still cycling through old emotions, validating your limitations, and cataloging everything that has not worked. The other timeline already exists, where you have become the liberated, joyful, abundant, and loved version of yourself. Both timelines exist simultaneously in the quantum field, but only one materializes physically, the one you choose to observe with depth and unwavering devotion. This is what acting as if truly means. It is not pretending or self-deception. It is choosing to observe what is not yet visible until it becomes manifest. You become the collapser when you stop reacting and start consciously deciding. When you examine your current circumstances and declare, "This is not the complete picture, I choose to observe something greater," you claim creative authority over the field. As you persist, the gap between inner vision and outer reality diminishes. What you previously imagined becomes what you begin experiencing because you observed it as truth before physical evidence existed. Here is your invitation. Begin observing your future self as if they are already present. Feel their energetic signature. Visualize how they move, how they communicate, what they believe. Hold that image in your heart as if it is already your current reflection. Because in a universe governed by observation, the most magnetic thing you can accomplish is to perceive clearly what others do not yet see and become that vision. There comes a moment, subtle yet profound, when you realize the universe is not testing your worthiness, punishing your mistakes, or withholding blessings from you. It is simply responding to your energetic broadcast. The quantum field operates without emotion. It does not evaluate what you want or question whether you deserve it. It does not examine your history, your karmic debt, or your stated goals. It reads only one thing: your vibrational frequency. It mirrors that frequency faithfully and precisely every single time. This explains why life sometimes appears contradictory. Your conscious mind requests one experience, while your energetic vibration broadcasts something entirely different. You might visualize financial abundance while vibrating with scarcity consciousness. You might affirm love while resonating with rejection fears. You might envision freedom while remaining emotionally attached to control, doubt, or competitive comparison. The field does not argue or analyze. It simply reflects back what you consistently embody energetically. It is not personal. It is purely vibrational mechanics. This represents the fundamental shift in understanding. Manifestation is not about persuading the universe to grant your wishes. It is about calibrating your energy to match the version of yourself who already possesses what you desire. That version of you already exists and is active in the field of possibilities. But you cannot access it from a frequency that contradicts its essence. The field cannot deliver peaceful experiences through chaotic vibrations. It cannot provide feelings of worthiness through emotions of self-doubt. This is not because you are undeserving, but because the vibrational frequencies simply do not align. The solution is to stop focusing on manipulating outcomes and start cultivating your internal state. Begin the sacred practice of observing your own thoughts, not judging them, but becoming conscious of them. Tune into your emotional baseline, not just occasional feelings, but your habitual emotional state, because it is your baseline that broadcasts the signal. It is the frequency you maintain when no one is observing that establishes the foundation for your reality. When you accept responsibility for your energetic output, everything transforms. You evolve from victim consciousness to creator consciousness. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and begin asking, "What am I vibrating that is attracting this experience?" This arises not from guilt or self-blame, but from awareness and empowerment. The field serves as your mirror, yet most people continuously attempt to change the reflection without altering what they are showing the mirror. They try to manifest increased income without healing their scarcity stories. They seek romantic love without becoming someone who feels genuinely lovable. They attempt to transform their external world without ever examining their internal landscape, and the field continues responding accordingly. Here is your moment of activation. Ask yourself, immediately, what am I consistently observing? What am I emotionally repeating? What frequency am I living from? Not just during meditation, but throughout daily life. This is not about achieving perfection. It is about maintaining consistency. It is about repeatedly choosing to return to the frequency of who you want to become, until that frequency becomes natural, and then it becomes your reality. Take a moment right now to conduct what I call a reality audit. Throughout your typical day, what percentage of your attention is focused on problems versus possibilities? When you wake up, what is the first thing you observe? Your worries or your vision? When you are driving, are you rehearsing past conversations or imagining future successes? When you are going to sleep, are you reviewing what went wrong or appreciating what went right? This audit is not meant to judge yourself, but to become aware of where your attention habitually goes. Most people are shocked to discover that 80 to 90% of their daily observation is focused on what they do not want, what is not working, or what they are afraid might happen. Then they wonder why their reality does not change. What is fascinating is that the moment you become aware of these patterns, they begin to lose their automatic power over you. Awareness itself is a quantum tool. When you catch yourself observing limitation, you are no longer unconsciously feeding it energy. You have created a gap, a space where choice becomes possible. In that gap, you can ask yourself a quantum question. If I knew that whatever I observe with sustained emotional attention becomes my reality, what would I choose to focus on right now? This simple question can redirect your entire life because it reminds you that you are not a victim of your circumstances. You are their conscious creator. When you recognize the field's neutrality, you reclaim complete personal power, because if it is not judging you, it is also not limiting you. There are no energetic gatekeepers, only energetic agreements, and you can renegotiate these agreements immediately. This understanding completely revolutionizes how you approach life. Challenges. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you begin asking, "What is this showing me about my current observation patterns?" Every experience becomes feedback about your consciousness, rather than evidence of external forces working against you. Let me share a profound realization that shifts everything. The universe is not testing you to see if you are worthy of your dreams. It is not withholding your good to teach you lessons. It is simply and faithfully reflecting back the sum total of your conscious and unconscious observation. This means that every moment is an opportunity to redirect the course of your life by choosing what to observe. Consider how this applies to relationships. If you consistently observe people as untrustworthy, unreliable, or selfish, the quantum field will keep reflecting back experiences that confirm this observation. But if you begin observing people as fundamentally good, capable of growth, and deserving of love, you will start attracting experiences that match this new observation. The same people might even begin showing up differently in your life, because you are literally calling forth different aspects of their nature through your observation. This principle applies to every area of life: health, finances, career, creativity. Your body responds to how you observe it. Money flows according to how you observe it. Opportunities appear based on how you observe the world around you. This is not magical thinking, it is quantum mechanics applied to daily life. With every breath, every belief, every moment of conscious presence, you are casting votes into the quantum field, declaring, "This is my identity." And the universe responds, "Your wish is granted. Let this be your transformation." You do not need to earn your ideal life. You simply need to match its frequency. You need to broadcast it consistently, and you need to do so with the emotional authenticity of someone who already embodies it. This moment is significant because it is your opportunity to stop reacting and start radiating, to stop pleading and start broadcasting, to stop explaining and start embodying. Because the field is perpetually listening and responding. Within you exists a space that remains unmoved by appearances and unshaken by circumstances. It is the aspect of you that simply observes without panic, projection, or mental noise. This is the frequency of the silent observer, and it contains more power than any effort you have ever exerted. The silent observer does not attempt to manifest through force or pressure. It does not chase outcomes or resist the present moment. It understands a deeper truth, that reality reorganizes itself, not through noise, but through stillness, not through demanding, but through witnessing with pure presence. In the quantum realm, everything exists as potential, a wave of infinite probabilities. However, that wave does not collapse because you struggle or strain. It collapses when you observe with crystal clarity, when you perceive with unwavering certainty, when your presence becomes coherent with your desire. This explains why many people strive for years to create change yet feel like nothing shifts. They are still observing their current life with resistance, still watching their fears more intensely than their future possibilities. The field obeys whatever lens you look through consistently. The power is not contained in your spoken words. It is embedded in the frequency from which you observe. When you attune to the field as the silent observer, detached from panic, liberated from judgment, and anchored in faith, you become magnetically attractive. The things you previously chased begin moving towards you, not because you increased your efforts, but because you became more empty of noise and more full of pure being. This is not passive, it is one of the most active disciplines you can cultivate. Witnessing your life without falling into the illusion that what you see represents the final outcome. Holding space for what wants to emerge even when there is no visible sign yet. Remaining centered while the world shifts around you, because you are no longer waiting, you are aligning with what is already yours. The silent observer is not disconnected, It is radically connected, but without the desperation that distorts the energetic signal. It watches from an elevated perspective, with calm knowing that every scene continues unfolding, that nothing becomes fixed until you observe it with your soul's recognition. In this frequency, you remember reality is not a force external to you. It is an echo of your awareness. The more silent, certain, and coherent your awareness becomes, the clearer and more accurate the echo. How do you live from this elevated state? You begin by practicing pure presence. You train your nervous system to feel secure in uncertainty. You release the habit of constant mental analysis. You observe your thoughts like passing clouds, allowing them to move through without grasping or resisting. You breathe more deeply. You slow your pace. You return repeatedly to the part of you that simply sees with clarity. From that pure seeing, creation flows naturally. The world will continue offering distractions. Old patterns will attempt to reclaim your attention. The ego will whisper that you are not doing enough. But each time you return to the frequency of the silent observer, you restore perfect alignment. You remind the field who is leading this dance, and you witness life reorganizing itself to match your vibrational signature. This is the authentic source of power. You do not need to manipulate outcomes. You do not need to perform spiritual practices from anxiety or desperation. You simply need to observe with heart, with presence, with unshakable belief. Because in this frequency, you are no longer separate from what you seek. You become the field itself, awakening to its own creative nature. The moment you truly realize this, the wave collapses, the illusion dissolves, and the miracle manifests. Here is your final invitation. Release the need for external proof. Become the presence that naturally attracts what you desire. Release the striving and embody the frequency. Do not just visualize your dream life. Serve it from the space within you that knows it is already real and present. The silent observer does not create accidentally. It creates through coherence. It chooses what to watch with intention, and then watches that vision come alive.